Got US stock traded mixed today. Given the oil price rise for like 5% today, the market is relatively quiet. So does that mean we'll see more pullback in the next coming days?
Well, we have to realize that we're a few days ahead of the Fed, and we just had a monster rally. And although oil was up 5%, today it was a little different than a few weeks ago when regular OPEC, came up with the cuts. And on that day, we were talking about buying oil for a move back to 52, and it was only like 47. This time it opened up, above that area, and it's pulling back a little bit to it. So all in all, you look at the chart of the USO, not the biggest deal. If you remember when we were talking about buying oil, it was right here. Okay, OPEC agreed to some kind of cut. I'm like, you know what? They didn't price that in at all. Let's buy a lot of it because I do think we could see the October highs, and it got pretty close right here. So last week we pulled back a little bit to test the 8-day. So when you open up and sell down, that just probably tells you it needs a little bit more time. So I would say, maybe this gap gets filled, and I would, say getting a little bit closer to this level would probably be a dip to buy. I did come in long XOM, I came in long Halliburton, and I, sold some strength. This also is pricing in a good move. Like this was when it broke above resistance. Look how it inched up above prior highs right here. So, with it opening up, a lot of people use that as an excuse to sell it. So at this point, I think you have to wait for it to set up. It just had a really big move from 67 to almost, 77. That's 10 points. And a lot of these names had a big move, so I think you just saw a little rotation. They hopefully they sold some strength in the oil names, and now we'll see, if there's other sectors to rotate into as we get some kind of dip.
Okay, and as you mentioned before, that Russell 1000 has already risen for like 15% after the Trump victory. And last Friday we saw some weakness, and you short Russell. So does that mean we have like huge short opportunities right now?
I don't know about right now, but Friday into today, there was an opportunity for cute cash flow. What do I mean by cute cash flow? I mean a quick day, 2, maybe 3-day trade against a trend. And on Friday, the market was strong, and the Russell showed a little signs of fatigue. So that is why I went home Friday short the Russell. Okay, and today you didn't even have to be short the Russell overnight. All you had to do is say, hey, I watched the morning call. Red Dog said if we get below a prior low, we can make a little bit of money. Well, that's happened here. So you had a similar pattern right there where it opened up, traded below. I talked about 137.75 is important. Well, went below it. You didn't even have to have the risk overnight. You could have shorted there, made some money. And now I would think that if this could pull back towards, the 8-day, maybe because the Fed is Wednesday, tomorrow's Tuesday, this would be, in my opinion, viable. Same way you saw a nice little pullback here to go up. We'll see what happens into this spot depending on whether we open up tomorrow or down. We'll go over that strategy in the morning.
Just as you said, we expect more rotation among different sectors, and tech has been not the leaders all the time. So as we are approaching the Fed meeting and also the Trump elements, do you think we may see maybe more opportunities in tech sector?
I think that's the last piece of the puzzle. If everyone wants Dow at 20,000, we're going to need tech to make new highs. And President-elect Donald Trump is hosting a summit, with all the tech leaders, or a lot of them. So we'll see which way that goes and the psychology of it. I know that he's pressured, or he's called out Amazon and Jeff Bezos. He's said said some things against Apple with all their money overseas. So if all of a sudden they come out of that meeting with some kind of reparation plan, and he's high-fiving Jeff, I think that technology could be the next group to propel us higher, like other groups had. So what needs to happen is the Qs, in my opinion, if they could hold, in the next session or two, if the market's a little bit quiet, if it could hold above this spot here, I think the next move above the high end of this resistance could be to the buy side. So a slight pullback here, maybe it goes back a little bit more, but overall, I think that this pullback in technology, it would be something to watch, because if it starts to go, that could help. And I think we have the spiders here. People are like, Red Dog, is this a doji in the spiders? Could this lead to one more down day, kind of like the IWM did? I'm like, okay, well, I'm short a little bit. If this can get below today's low tomorrow, maybe there's a little bit more of a retracement ahead of the Fed on Wednesday. The 8 days all the way down here. So I think at this point, either a little bit of sideways or sideways to down would be nice ahead of Wednesday.
Okay, I think that's all we have for today.
Yes, and we'll have a lot more in the morning, a lot more individual stock plays if you are a member of Redler All Access in the note. So make sure if you want more actionable content, you have to subscribe. Otherwise, we'll just see you at the Morning Call Express.
除了每天的一个视频节目之外，我们还会提供清晨的一个研究报告，希望您继续关注我们的节目和我们的报告。感谢您的收看，我们明天再见。